Hey, somebody needs to start another book. You have? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to The Professional Noticer. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. My purpose here today and with every show we do is to play the part of a best friend or a coach. I want to help you live the life of your wildest dreams by giving you access to the greatest mentors the world has to offer today. This week, The Professional Noticer is sponsored by Books for Veterans. The Veterans Administration in Washington, D.C. has asked for 10,000 of our books, and I'm personally donating as many as I can, but to reach 10,000, I need your help. What we're able to do to make that easier for you is for every $12 donation you make, a hardback book will be sent to the Veterans Administration for veterans, their families, and for the employees of the VA. That $12 will cover the cost of the book, the shipping, and handling. Or you can purchase one of these awesome Books for Veterans t-shirts, and your purchase will include a book sent in your name. So whether you can make this a personal gift or a corporate donation, just go to andyandrews.com/veterans. This can be added to a website purchase, done as an individual entry, or in conjunction with a Books for Veterans t-shirt. Thanks very much for your support. Observations and answers, that's what we do here on The Professional Noticer. And as you know, we love it when we can come to the table with both observations and answers. And we're going to get that done today. I'm on my own today, just you and me, and we're going to be thinking through some things and making some calls on some things. I got a question last week that has prompted this, and as you know, I've been thinking a lot about culture, and we've been posting about culture and the difference that it makes. Now, in my life, I don't just do this Professional Noticer podcast. I do Blue Plate specials on Tuesday and Thursday at 12:15 p.m. Central Time that are broadcast live on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, on wisdomharbor.com. And we also have wisdomharbor.com, a streaming service that I take part in and oversee. And then I speak and I write. But I also have a coaching business that has increasingly demanded more of my attention in the past 10 years. And it started out as just a way to explore and to prove some concepts and really started expanding with its success. But I ran this company for the first 7 years without a name of the company, without any brochures, without a video, without a website, without a business card. And it really started demanding more of my time. And so we said, okay, let's just make it available. It had been totally word of mouth and still really kind of is. And so, but we've had unbelievable success in helping companies double and sometimes triple their results, sometimes in a single year. And we do this in a different way. One is we're not just coaching leadership, and we're not coaching an individual leader. We're coaching everybody. We're putting this down into the whole employee roles, and we're doing it at a price that is affordable. And so as this has gone on, we've started having some inquiries from some pretty big potential clients. And we had one last week that asked a question in a way that I was like, wow, okay. And the question was, okay, before we go forward with this, how does this really work? How does it create more revenue? How does it create retention with employees? How does it help recruiting? Not just because Andy does it, not just because you've gotten great results, not just because the clients are prospering, not just because you're helping people, but how does this really work? Now, I understand the question just because we're kind of a game of one. There's nobody competing with what we do. They're training organizations. We're a coaching organization, training organizations. They train specific movements. Coaching is about thinking. Nick Saban is a coach. The reason he won like he did was the culture he created with the thinking that went on field and off. And so we are a coaching organization, and we're coaching down into the every common denominator. And so I understand that people have not seen anything like this, and I understand they're a little suspicious of the low cost. Just like, how can you charge that little for this? Because we charge per employee, and we charge at a rate per employee for the year that you can't get piano lessons for that. And so I understand, but I kept thinking when they were asking this question, well, hadn't we told you how it works? Doesn't the website, creating measurable results.com, doesn't that tell you how it works? But as I got to thinking about it, I thought I really need to dig deep. I need to go to the bottom of the pool and think through this answer. Because they said, you seem to perform, this company, CMR, creating measurable results. They said this company seems to produce miracles. And so how does it do that? And can we expect a miracle when we get involved? So I dug deep, and this is my answer. I wanted to share it with you in hopes that this will help you understand the culture that you're building for your family, the culture you're building for your organization, and for your company. So here we go. While it is true that CMR's proprietary curriculum has recorded results bordering on the unbelievable now for more than a decade, to deem those results miraculous might imply that they were somehow gained by a fortunate accident. But to the contrary, these client results were all predicted beforehand. One might ask, taking into account America's wide range of industries, how is it possible to predict similar outcomes across the board? Curiously, the answer to that question is the same answer to the question about how CMR is able to produce consistently staggering results in the first place. During the course of the past 25 years, I have been actively engaged in groundbreaking research studying human nature regarding performance by large groups of people. So because of this research, creating measurable results has literally been able to crack the code on creating predictable behavior by assembled individuals who have been hired to work as a team toward a specific corporate goal. CMR is currently the only company in the world offering a comprehensive coaching program for entire organizations. And to be clear, this is not training. There are no sales scripts to memorize or leadership retreats to attend. This is systematic coaching of every individual a corporation employs, otherwise known as assembled individuals who have been hired to work as a team toward a specific corporate goal. Every single employee in each individual position is critical to the overall outcome of the whole. This is true whether or not separate groups or teams interact or ever even see each other. Consider, for example, a hospital. What level of surgical outcomes might be expected from brilliant surgeons if the team cleaning the operating rooms are doing a less than brilliant job? And what is the difference between cleaning adequately and cleaning brilliantly. In most industries, corporate leaders have convinced themselves that they are able to regulate employee performance to a standard. And that is true, or at least somewhat true. The truth, however, is quite different. Is the standard of every employee, every hour of every day, to do the very best that can be done? Does their standard include performing to the very limit of their potential? Is each individual determined and committed to consistently raising the bar on their potential in order that they might perform at an increasingly higher level? No, it's not. Further, can a standard like that even be imposed by leadership? Or must that standard be an individual's personal decision? For a fact, the employee would be the only person to really know the difference in their own performance. Unfortunately, the standard of performance imposed by most leadership usually translates for employees as what I have to do to keep my job. And if we are honest, at least a little bit, doesn't this secret standard also apply to leadership and management positions? To keep my job, how many sales do I have to make? To keep my job, how many meetings do I have to attend? How well do I need to do this? To keep my job, how often do I need to do this? How on time do I have to be? How many calls are enough? To keep my job, how comfortably can I dress? What kind of attitude do I have to display? The answers to these questions, and about 100 more that are similar, all hit a mark well below the best I can possibly do. So, because all people generally perform below their potential, is the organization of which they are a part also destined to perform far below its actual potential? Yes, usually. So, how does it work? How does CMR's curriculum actually build and retain great people, attract the best from competing organizations, and in turn increase revenue? What follows is the key to understanding how and why creating measurable results is able to consistently rocket organizations beyond any point most leadership imagines to be possible. Consider what we've learned so far. Even the most successful companies employ individuals who meet expectations and perform to a standard required. That standard, however, does not nearly represent the best that can be done. In fact, the average standard for employees in almost every industry or sport might be underscored by a yes answer to these two questions. Do they know what to do? Do they know how to do it? Corporate leaders in America have not figured out how to create teams of individuals that willingly sail well beyond that average mark of standards and expectations. They have been unable to pay for it, punish for it, regulate for it, or incentivize it. The reason for this failure is simple. Management can dictate a certain level of performance for only 40 hours every week. Unfortunately for them, that leaves 128 hours for employees to be on their own, which means that whatever a culture a company may try to impose while at work, the real culture an individual is marching to is determined during the 128 hours of private life, not the 40 they are behaving in such a way that allows them to keep their jobs. Culture is a catch-all term describing consistent results produced by behavior. Behavior is an outward manifestation of one's thinking. Great thinking yields wise choices in all areas of life. Wise choices are a direct link to behavior. Behavior describes how one chooses to respond, physically and verbally, during every waking moment, at peace and under stress, at work and away from work, while with family, with coworkers, or out in public. Behavior determines the tone of one's voice, the expression on a person's face, and whether they are seen as an asset or a detriment to the employer they represent. Note, too, that we do not simply represent our employers for the 40 hours we are on site. No, each individual is a corporate representative 168 hours a week, every minute of every day. Consider the news you've seen or read about someone in trouble. Always included in the story is where they work. The catch, of course, is the point about the 128 hours of off time being more influential than the 40 hours at work. Why would that time be more influential? Because it includes things that are more important to people than their jobs. Marriages, children, and faith are easy examples of those more important things. At best, our careers are at least second or third down the list. Why is this a critical fact for leadership to understand as they strive to increase levels of performance in current employees? Well, how would we expect someone to pay the highest level of respect and attention to the third most important thing in their life if the first or second most important thing is in turmoil? The answer is, we can't. It has always been true that if one's personal life is in disarray, their professional life suffers as a consequence. If our children are at risk, can we keep our mind on work issues? After all, one can only be as happy as our unhappiest child. There is also an unspoken secret among employees about their employers that goes like this. They expect my loyalty. If you ask them why I should be loyal, their answer is, because we provide your paycheck. And they're right. But between you and me, that's the only reason I'm loyal. They pay me. Why would this be the case? Because other than a paycheck and the benefits that most corporations provide as part of the compensation package, that's the only connection the company has to the employee. American employees overwhelmingly feel like replaceable cogs in a corporate machine. How can one be loyal to a machine, or a building, or a brand or logo? The truth is, they can't. One can only be loyal to a person or an ideal. That means a specific leader, their leadership as a whole, or the corporation's purpose, the difference it makes to people. When a company commits to provide CMR's coaching curriculum to all its employees, it's usually the first personal investment employees have ever seen leadership make in them, and they notice the difference immediately. In the past, all investments in employees had an obvious connection to a benefit for the company. Employees come to view the investment in personal coaching for each of them with stunned appreciation. As the curriculum unfolds, it becomes apparent to the entire workforce that the messages are not designed to merely motivate them or train them to work harder or at a higher level. Instead, each lesson is designed to explain thinking at a different level in a way that benefits them and their families personally. As their own thinking shifts and evolves, their personal lives improve, which affects their work in positive ways. They communicate to coworkers with increased skill and communicate with clients and customers in a much more satisfying way. Perhaps just as important, the employees become ambassadors for the corporation outside of work. This, in effect, creates a powerful word of mouth, a display of loyalty that can't be purchased or demanded. When people become better husbands and wives, better mothers and fathers, better friends and neighbors, they become more influential and more respected everywhere they go. When their employer is seen as the architect of their increased life, they are extremely grateful. They see the investment in them as one the company did not have to make, and become organically and fiercely loyal to the company's leaders and the company itself. These employees will not work anywhere else, even for more money. The Creating Measurable Results curriculum, applied to every employee, has not only made their life better, it has made all their coworkers' lives better, which has made an employee's life at work more joy than job, more an outlet for their passions than a place where they get their paycheck. These obvious results and the constant word of mouth from employees Make this place of business number one on the wish list of the most talented performers currently drudging away for other companies. Recruiting becomes a matter of choosing the best from the industry. And finally, the increased level of thinking, along with their newfound peace in life, passion for the work, and gratefulness to the corporate leadership, creates a playing field producing an ever-increasing level of more and better. Revenues, as one might expect, skyrocket. While it took more than 15 years to produce and refine the curriculum, in reality, the concept and the reason it applies across the board is a simple one. How we are treated and how we come to understand the degrees of how we can treat other people makes a massive difference in the growth of any team, organization, or corporation. A college football team might call that concept showing class, while a hotel would call it hospitality. A home goods store or an online shopping portal would probably deem what they hope for as great customer service, while the healthcare industry refers to quality of care. In truth, it's all the same. Better people treat people better. Happy, contented people who are finding answers to life's questions and have become genuinely excited about the work they do and the team they serve are better people. Creating Measurable Results joins your team, and together, we create better people. And that's just how it works. I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer, harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. And I think that'll do it for this week. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of The Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing that tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Limpert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Electric blankets for the cast and crew provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by the American Association of Fake Commercial Writers. Friend, can you write? Do you have a great imagination but no creative outlet for your mental wanderings? If so, we might have a place for you at the American Association of Fake Commercial Writers. The Writers Guild of America is a union already in place for writers of movie scripts and real commercials for television. To be a part of the Writers Guild, you actually have to qualify, pony up a membership fee, and pay dues after that. Here at the American Association of Fake Commercial Writers, we require nothing but the ability to make up stuff that sounds real. Fake commercials are already a valuable addition to podcasts and at least one channel on SiriusXM. Can you imagine fishing lures being made from poodle fur? Or a supermarket on wheels that grows its own vegetables and comes to your house so you can pick them freshly? How about a company that sells dehydrated water? If you can turn ideas like those into commercials, like poodlelures.com, flatbed salads, and dry H2O, we will find a place for your talents. So remember, that's the American Association of Fake Commercial Writers, for people who can write commercials as counterfeit as this one.